one and all to the K.O.E. Nation for another premium spirits review. Here we are going into Rabbit Hole. It is a special Kentucky straight bourbon whiskey finished in PX sherry casks. I am the devilishly handsome outlaw himself, your king of extreme, Phil K.O.E., joined by my indomitable broadcast partners in inebriation. But yes, Rabbit Hole Derringer. Well, I'm looking forward to this one, folks. Joined by the one, the only,
the Blend Master, Tony G, lover of bourbon and sherry casking. Like, share, subscribe. This is going to be beautiful.
And your style and profile and host of the night, Chicken.
Yes, we are here at the Chicken Coup, and thank you for hosting us this evening, sir.
Absolutely.
And this is one I am really looking forward to. I've seen a lot about this. I've heard a lot about it. I've even considered picking up a bottle myself, but it's just one of those that, at its price point, I always just thought maybe another time.
Yeah.
But now we're here.
Actually,
This-
difficult to get in, but they do have the
You need to come in.
Yeah.
No, they've got the pre-cut plastic.
I was actually talked into buying this. I went to a random liquor store, and I was asking, "Do you have Blanton's? Do you have Booker's?" I'm looking for some good whiskey, some good bourbons, and asking around. Here we go. Oh, it was gorgeous.
5-star cork pop.
Yes.
Oh my god.
So I was asking around. I was asking her like, "Hey, like, what can I get?" And she's like, "Okay, honestly, you're not gonna find those here. It's very rare we get them, but you should try this. If you're into some of the Bookers or
Sure.
Blanton's or any of these others, like, this is very good for the price, and it's worth a try."
Now, okay, just a few quick things. Louisville, Kentucky, like most of them are. 2017 gold medal for New York World and Spirits competition. Also,
That's a nice nose.
it's a PX small batch, twice finished in new toasted and charred American oak barrels and Pedro Menez sherry cask, never chill filtered, as it should be.
Really?
That's
That's a nice nose.
This is 46.5%,
Surprising.
93 proof. Yes, finished PX sherry casks.
Sweet. Sugary.
very dark chocolate.
Mm-hmm.
This just has a
Cherries.
scannable code.
It's like those chocolate covered cherries. It's like,
Yep.
Yeah,
Still a lot of toasted oak.
yeah.
I think there's a bit of a medium rare steak.
Oh God, this would go good with the steak.
It would go good with a steak. I don't know if I'm getting medium rare steak on the nose.
That's what I'm getting though. The bloodiness of a very nice seared steak, but the juice is all still coming out.
Now you're making me want to cook with this too.
I wonder if
Oh, this would be.
I wonder if that's the sherry.
Could
I think
be.
it is specifically.
Because
But
sometimes wines can have a very meaty
yeah.
profile.
Now
Yeah.
there's not an age statement on this, obviously, so we don't know.
I'm not getting like. Now that you're mentioning it, like, yeah, there is like kind of like an irony, bloody, like, but I'm still getting mostly sweet. But like when you're saying like medium rare steak, I'm just getting like the iron of blood.
Yeah, yeah.
Like so. Oh man. But yeah, very sweet. If you like bourbon, you'll like this nose.
It sticks
but
to
it
the glass
offers
good
more.
too.
Yeah.
It's
No, it's different. I love sherry casking, and it's coming through for sure, but it's definitely got a bit of a profile to its own on the nose. I really like it. It's different enough.
Well, folks, I think we should all just take a little sip.
Oh, very sherry. Wow. Wow.
That's interesting.
Oh. Wow. I thought the finish was sugar.
I gotta do that again.
sweetness, but then it had a second finish on it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it had a finish and then a finish.
Like a meteor finish on the second half.
I can see that, but yeah, to me, it was kind of candy cane in the front, and then it was reminding me of a bourbon I couldn't play. Like, the bourbon tasted like a bourbon I've had before, but it was wrapped in all this other stuff. Like, I don't know how else to describe it. There was cherries and chocolate and all that wrapping around it, and then there was, like you said, sort of a meatiness on the end. But the bourbon I'm trying to place, because I've
Kind
had...
of like a spicy Blanton's with that Willet that we tried. I can't...
Is there like a tang?
Yeah, I think that's the meatiness coming through. And I don't mean this in a bad way when I say the meaty flavor, because
This is good.
it's good. It's really good, but
It's just bugging me which bourbon it's reminding me of.
I know there is a specific one there.
Like the chocolate cherry's almost overpowering in a way, though.
But it's like you guys said that there's a finish and then a finish. Like, there's the bourbon finish, and then there's the finishing finish.
This is like if you went to a steakhouse and ordered your
Exactly.
steak,
This is
but
specific.
then you ordered your dessert and they just dumped it right on top of that steak. Which
Is there a steakhouse that does that?
I don't know, but I kind of want to go to one. Yeah, I'd like a medium done steak, but could you put the whipped
we should
cream
have had this
and the
with our
chocolate sauce and
ribeyes
cherry?
tonight.
Yeah, this is...
Wow.
Usually,
This would have complemented a
usually when
ribeye.
it comes to
There's
red meat,
something.
I insist on red wine. Like, that's kind of my...
Well, tell me this doesn't look like red wine. I mean,
Well,
the color is there.
not
Taste is
exactly,
there.
but yeah, I get what you're saying. The taste is there.
Taste definitely.
I would definitely go for this, like you said,
This is unique.
with fatty meats. This would pair very well.
Yeah, I can't say I've ever had anything quite like this.
No.
Now I can
This is
understand
interesting.
the price point.
Yeah.
Now it makes sense because at the time I was like, I didn't really want to make the gamble, you know, because I didn't know anything about it. For all I knew, this could just be some new distillery.
Sorry.
We're recording, bitch. Yeah. Yeah, that's been a many a fights and a lot of battling to win that battle. Gotta fight hard. But yet I only have one child, so I can win that fight because he's like 12 and does everything on his own, so I don't have that like guilt trip. So now it's just me, sir, and like nobody wins. Yeah, yeah. Yeah.
She does that. Like, strike, I don't think we have MCO.
Oh my god. That's rough. Okay, I never
Yeah,
had.
it's always kind of like...
I never had that.
It's
But
a little tongue-in-cheek, but it's also a little like... You should not be sad.
yeah, I wouldn't allow the tongue in cheek. I would lose my shit on the tongue in cheek every time because I knew where it leads. It doesn't go anywhere. But yeah, that was one of those ones I used to always squash.
Yeah. This is all my friends. Now I know nobody really wants to hear that solution.
Don't have to do any of it.
It's like, I know you're gonna be sad if she leaves, but there will be good things.
And there's other ones.
Yeah, it turns out.
Turns out there's other ones. Some of them will treat you better.
Some of them.
Some of them are better looking.
3 minutes.
Yeah. I don't even know where we left off in this video. Food pairings.
Yes. Now I'm just gonna hit right. Well,
Yeah, we just got to wrap up the food pairings. And, yeah.
All right.
All right,
Yeah,
wrapping up
yes.
food pairings and killing this
Your
bitch.
ass sufficiently chapped.
Almost always.
All right. Take your rations while I look a man. All right. Why he keeps hanging out? I really don't. Like, I've been an asshole to him since like 12.
Yeah.
All right. So I think we were talking about food pairings, right?
Right.
All right.
Do you need a hug?
Not yet.
He needs some whiskey.
Do you,
All right.
do you need a group hug? It feels like I'm fucking holding my hands up. Shut up.
Ah, yes, the pairing of food. Always a great thing with spirits. So, as we move right along, folks, hey, I'm nothing if not topical. And, like, that was such a seamless cut, the audience didn't even notice. So,
Notice what? I don't know what you're talking
Exactly. So, now we move on to the grading of this bourbon. And this one is unique, folks. So, we're going to grade this on a few different scales. We're going to grade it as a bourbon, as a whiskey, as a cask-aged spirit, it's shelving, and then the secret fifth question. If you're new to the show, you got to tune in to the end to see what it is. So, we move on to bourbon on a 5-star scale. There we go, I'll get there eventually. On a 5-star scale, 1 or a half star being meh, 5 stars being you must have this before you shuffle off this mortal coil. What would you rate this as a bourbon?
I'll take it off the bat. This is very interesting. It is actually really palatable. It is very unique. This is something you can definitely sit here and drink neat and just sip on. This is like an end of the day stress reliever type drink. I can see that. This is very good with food pairings, as we talked. It has its unique uses. I'm going to give it a 3.5 because for those uses, it's fantastic. Is it for every day? Probably not.
No, this is like a Friday night or a special occasion.
I'm gonna go the other way with it. I think it's a bourbon. It's a 3 because this is not traditional bourbon. It's very niche. It's very specific, and I think this is more of a weekday bourbon because you could have this with a meal after a really hard day. You come home, you have a steak and potatoes, you pour yourself a bourbon, and this would be perfect with your dinner meal. I think that's what this is, but it's very specific. I think the sherry casking finish really has to appeal to you because if you don't like that, you're not gonna like this. Really nice. I love it. I love that casking finish, but you've got to like it to like this.
I'm going to agree with Tony here, but I'm going to be all over the place in my gradings here.
Yeah,
so keep your eye on
agreed.
this.
Agreed.
As a bourbon, it's 3 stars.
Yeah.
It's a good bourbon, but it's not true to form on bourbon.
No.
I would not give someone a bottle of this as a proof of type of what bourbon is.
Sure.
You're not going to
That's
introduce
fair.
somebody to bourbon.
Yeah, like it would just not
It'd
be
be
a
a
good.
lie.
Yeah, well, it just wouldn't. It would not do the idea of bourbon justice.
No.
So
Somebody's going to go drink a bottle of Maker's 101 or Wild Turkey Rare.
expecting
Go,
this and like, what in the
fuck?
world?
This isn't bourbon because I tried that.
Yeah, exactly. So now we move on to whiskey. In the world of whiskey, putting this up against a much wider world, all the Scotches, Irish whiskeys, Canadians, other bourbons.
I'm gonna go 3.5 at least because this is really nice. This is really specific. It's really unique. They found a market that really hasn't been cornered that I've been exposed to. So this is, I could almost go 3.7. In fact, I'm going to with 3.75. I'm going to.
All right, chicken.
For just a whiskey, yeah, I feel there's a lot between cooking. I think there's a lot you can do with
There's
this.
a market out here that would think this is a 5-star.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Definitely. I think you can actually have some interesting cocktailing with this as
Oh,
well.
yeah.
I'm giving this a 4. I think this is actually fantastic. It's just just picking up a whiskey. Yeah, fuck yeah, this is fantastic.
This would be the cocktail I would use this for. Bourbon Presbyterian. Third water, third 7-Up or any kind of citrus-based soda water. Third bourbon, all served in a tall glass on ice. That was drink my grandmother ordered often. In fact, it was the only thing she would ever order, Bourbon Press. And she'd say, go easy on that 7-Up. But this would be a great bourbon to add with that, because you'd be adding that citrusy soda,
that sounds
a little
really
bit of
good.
water, and all of it on ice. Yeah.
With
so
this, that sounds
Bourbon
amazing.
Presbyterian is what I would use that for specifically. So I'm going to agree 375 as a whiskey. Now we move on to cask aged spirits. And can I go ahead and take this one, guys?
I know
As
I'm
a
going.
cask aged spirit, I'm going 425.
Really?
Yes. It is all of the quality in this is all in the casking, is all in the aging, is all in pulling it out at the proper time. That's why I graded it low as a bourbon, because it's really not proof of type bourbon. This is more of a different product. It's a decent whiskey, but in terms of cask aging as a spirit, I'm giving this 425.
I was going to give it a 4, but all right. He took the words out of my mouth out a lot of it, but no, this was a pleasant surprise. Like,
Power of persuasion.
I don't get talked into buying a random bottle of whiskey from some random chick at a liquor store very often, and she was very convincing of this one for many of the reasons we talked about tonight. So I'm happy with the choice, and I agree. 4.
The cask aged. I'm gonna go the other way. I'm afraid. I'm gonna say this is a 3 1/4.
We're all entitled to be wrong once in a while.
No, I think the fact that this is so specific, this is so unique, and there's no age statement here. It's a bourbon, which is, we agreed, is not true to its bourbon flavor. It's sherry cask finish, which is another niche thing. There's no age statement here, but I think this has potential. If you took this and went age variants and cask strength variants, you could legitimately see some truly remarkable older age statement.
Oh yeah, if this was an 8-year or 10-year, it'd be 5 stars in cask age.
I think there's a lot of potential here, but I'm gonna go with that.
That is your opine, and I'll give you that. But yes, in terms of its cask aging, this impresses me. The fact that it's got a finish and then it's got a finish. That's all
The double
from the
finish is
casking.
okay. Fine, 3.5.
Well,
The double finish, you're right. I do appreciate the double finish.
Phil K.O.E. I am one persuasive
I'll give
mofo.
you that.
What can I
I'll
say?
give you that. 3.5.
Yes. All right. So now, gentlemen, we have gone through those scales. Now, it is a very interesting question. Shelving.
This is a tough
This
question.
is one of the tougher shelvings, because you could make. It's definitely not bottom shelf. We can all agree on that.
No, hell no.
Absolutely not.
So now it's a question of, does it go on your middle or your top shelf? And there is a fine argument for either. I'll let you
I'll
rip
go
the
middle
Band-Aid.
shelf, because I'm very picky when it comes to bourbon, and I'm very picky when it comes to sherry cask. I think this does such a unique job with both marrying the two that it's really good, but I can't put it on my top, so I'm gonna go middle.
I think this is gonna replace Bourbon
Wow.
on my top. Bourbon, little big. Now, granted, it's not the Bourbon 14 or anything.
Okay.
Like,
Sure.
and again, this is inventory. All
Right,
but,
right.
but yeah, this is going on my top shelf. This is fantastic. I like this. It's something very different. And again, yeah, you're right. You have to enjoy the certain flavors, and you got to appreciate the sherry for sure. But no, I think this has a wide variety of a lot of different things. And what was the name of that? The press?
Bourbon Presbyterian. Yeah. My grandma just called it a bourbon press.
Well,
I'm gonna have to try
I
that.
kinda want to try
Oh,
that
yeah.
too.
Yeah.
This is perfect for that.
Yeah, everything he said sounded delightful.
Yep. So, all right. For me, I am also torn as to where to put this. I don't know if it would sit on my top or my middle shelf. That one is literally just a which shelf has more room instance, because it could Because
I'll
this
answer
is
it
a
for
good.
you.
The
Friday
bottle's
night.
not as presentable as I would
The
like.
bottle's
It's not
presentable.
fancy.
The bottle's presentable, but in terms of a fill shelving, I don't think it has the name recognition. You're going to put it on your main shelf.
Oh,
Go ahead. Tell
Did
me
you
I'm
just call
wrong.
Phil a snob?
Yes. Tell me I'm
I
wrong.
resemble that remark.
Tell me I'm wrong. I'm not wrong.
No, you're not.
Thank
Like
you.
it's. I've got some really heavy hitters. Cavassier 21, Dalmore
Yeah.
18, Glenfiddich 21, sitting on my top shelf. So like, yeah, mwah, 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 I kiss you all 3 times. But this one, mwah, mwah, I kiss it twice.
This surprised
it's
me.
amazing.
This is not at all what I expected.
Yeah, way better. And a real sleeper spirit. Like, I didn't think this one was gonna be as good. Like, again, it's not.
It's not for everybody.
It's not a pure. It's not a bourbon purist drink. No.
No.
It's not a whiskey purist drink. But if you want something that's good and it can cocktail, this is it. So now, the secret 5th question. We've arrived there, folks.
Yeah.
Chicken. What did this bottle cost you, USD?
I think it was about $80.
$80. $80 USD. When that bottle runs empty, will you replace it?
Yeah, for sure. I'm keeping
That's
this.
quite the statement on an $80 bottle because it's at $80. It's a very competitive price point. There's a lot of really
Yeah.
good stuff out there at
Yeah.
80, and this one still matches with it. T, $80 USD. Will you seek out that bottle?
This one specifically, no, because the flavor profile of this, paired with the new brand of Rabbit Hole that we are just now getting familiar with, I know that there is a very readily available rye version of Rabbit Hole. And I'll be honest, after having this, I'm more intrigued to try their version of rye than I am anything else. Like, there's 2 other...
If their rye is half as surprising as this,
that's what I'm thinking. Like, this in a rye version, I think would be insanely comparable to a Mitchell's rye, which is my favorite.
Ooh.
So I think that would be very, very much right up my wheelhouse. They have a couple other offerings in terms of whiskey, but specifically Rabbit Hole Rye. That's probably what I'll be looking at, which is, I think, slightly under half the price that you paid for this.
Interesting.
as their first tiptoe in, or like toes into the pool on this,
Exactly.
though, I'm pretty impressed
Yeah,
with
it's
it.
just so unique.
Yeah.
Me, I will be seeking a bottle of this. Obviously, like, to me, I'm always a sales hunter. If they've got a nice bottle that's on for sale, I always snatch it up then. I think I will be giving this bottle a second look next time I see it, because I usually just pass it over because I thought it was just a gimmicky bottle, gimmicky stuff. But no, the stuff in the bottle does meet out to be something quite good and well worth your while. So I, Phil K.O.E., can give this a recommend, but not a standard one. This one's different from what you're used to.
Yeah.
So, well, gentlemen, like to say to the fine people at home,
Very surprised. Very
Love it.
surprised.
I'm keeping this around.
as I'm known to say around here. All that being said, thank you for joining us for this very special review of Rabbit Hole Derringer, an amazing finished bourbon and a spirit worth checking out. I am the devilishly handsome outlaw himself, your king of extreme, Phil K.O.E., signing off and handing it off to my indomitable broadcast partners.
Tony G, like, share, subscribe. Blendmaster approves.
Chicken, styling, profiling. Appreciate you. Love you.